down and out about their haircuts.
Sure.
I'm begging anybody out there, before you go and get surgery, before you walk into these hair club system places, I'm telling you right now, I am $20,000 in the hole, and 10 years of stress, the last 3, an absolutely horrifying existence of stress and pain. And I can promise you, the stress of this hairpiece is 1,000 times more than I would have ever felt if I had just been confident with who I am, dealt with the fact that these are the cards I've been dealt, and deal with them, and just shave my head. And honestly, like Spencer said, not everyone's there, but that's where I'm at.
And now something completely different.
Good afternoon. I'm speaking to you live just outside
I like to think balding is just God's way of saying, now let's see you get laid.
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
What I'd really like to do is put the greatness of this man in perspective.
The hair loss community has a lot to be thankful for, having you as a spokesperson.
You mean you just call this guy up?
About life and about reality.
And now, America's #1 reality radio show for men. Live from Los Angeles, it's Spencer Kobren's The Bald Truth.
Hey guys, welcome to the program. 888-659-3727 is the toll-free number. Obviously, I have the UK line, if you're watching the broadcast, on the screen right now, which is 0203-372-4683. This is our Friday afternoon, or evening in some cases, broadcast. It's afternoon here on the west coast of the United States. Hold on. Choking a lot today. I don't know what's going on. But I want to welcome all of you guys to the broadcast. I want to thank you for tuning in, taking time out of your busy schedule to listen to the Hair Loss Guys. That's what this program is. We are the Hair Loss Show. Sounds insane, especially for the new guys who are just tuning in for the very first time, but I have been doing this broadcast for over 20 years, going into my 21st year on The Bald Truth. And I have to tell you, it took 20 years before some people in the industry finally noticed us. Sadly, Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey. How goes it?
Well, they noticed us from right away. I mean, when I first came out in 1998, got on the air, books were going, selling like hotcakes, and the industry changed because we created this economic pressure that, look, if you didn't play ball, motherfuckers, you would lose out. That's it. And what I mean by playing ball is change the infrastructure of your practice. Start to really treat patients well. Do pure follicular unit transplantation. That was it. That's all they needed to do. Sadly, when I wrote the first book, there were only 11 doctors who I was able to put in that book who were actually doing state-of-the-art hair transplantation at the time. Think about that. Crazy. But you know what? Within about 2.5 years, everyone else caught up. Now, they still didn't do state-of-the-art hair transplantation, but at the very least, they were offering patients the opportunity to potentially get a decent result on a good day, if all the stars were aligned, if they weren't drinking that day, if they happened to have the right technicians in place. But at least they had microscopes, and at least they were offering pure follicular unit transplantation. Now it appears that we are getting noticed again in a pretty big way. And I think that it's unfortunate when I do speak to certain physicians, when I speak to people and they're not really watching what we're doing. Now, there was a great post in the Facebook forum today, that the private Facebook hair transplant community group. And it was from a doctor who actually posted an image of us on the screen saying that he's watching us during his time between patients and enjoying it.
That's pretty awesome.
And also getting an education from it. And that's the point of this broadcast. Yes, we want to educate the consumer, but we're also here to show physicians what consumers are thinking, what their needs are, what's going on in their lives, why they've decided to undergo surgical hair restoration, what their concerns are after the procedure, who got fucked up and why. if you don't have your finger on the pulse of what's really happening with the hair transplant consumer, and I say consumer as opposed to patient, because they are consuming, just like any other product or service, a service. You guys have turned this into a commodity. So these are hair transplant consumers. Yes, they are patients, but the reality is they are shopping around, they are kicking tires, some of them are kicking themselves, or thousands are kicking themselves for making the wrong decision, not making or doing their due diligence to make the right decision. A lot of you guys have so much crap on your websites out, that when I go on people's websites, I can't even believe the bullshit that I read. Everyone's a fucking pioneer. Everyone's a leader in the field. Everyone's invented some shit. Everyone's published everywhere. And the reality is it's all bullshit.
And no one cares.
No one fucking cares. But the truth is, things are changing. Let me see if I have some bullshit here. Where is it? I can't find it.
What are you looking for?
I was just looking for I was looking at this guy's website the other day. He's not an IHRS member. He's not even an ISHRS member. But he was in the Post a few years ago, and the article essentially was promoting hair transplants for teenagers, saying that more teens than ever before are considering hair transplant surgery, as if it's an option for most teens. And on this guy's website, it says he is the leading hair transplant expert on Long Island in New York. A former vascular surgeon and a leader in the field, in this field. And he's not even a member of the most basic of basics or organizations that you really should be a member of if you are going to be in this industry.
That's amazing to me.
Is it really amazing to you? It can't be amazing to you. You're saying that for a fact.
Well, what, you want me to sit here and snooze? I got to participate somehow.
This is the new normal. And I want to say something also. And guys, call us, otherwise we're going to leave. The phone number is 888-659-3727. I'll put that on the lower third right now. If we don't receive a call in a few minutes, I'm going to do my thing. Maybe Joe and I will talk about some shit. We'll turn this into a podcast, and we're going to go. I'm taking my Friday, where I can actually be working and making some fucking money, to do this show for you for nothing. So if you don't call in, then fuck it. We won't do the Friday show. That's how I feel about it. I enjoy it. I think it's great that we have the opportunity to interact with you guys, and I want your physicians to see this, and physicians who are entering the field to see this, and I want consumers to see this, and patients to see this. But it's no skin off my back just to turn off this camera, turn off the mic, and go home. Well, I actually am home.
For us to do that.
For us, yeah. So I'm going to give out the number one more time. That means that you guys call in. When I give out the number, that is a prompt. It's 888-659-3727. And by the time I finish this thought, if there's not a line lit, we're closing up shop.
Before you do, here's the UK number as well.
Yeah.
0203-3724-683.
I just want you guys to hear this. It's the way it is, guys. I know this is internet broadcasting. It's a live broadcast. I know the guys who have gone off the air because they couldn't get calls, because they couldn't figure out a way to afford to keep the show on the air. Some really good broadcasters. I don't need to do that. I'm not going to do that. We'll just put out a podcast. It'll be the easiest shit. So I'll give you guys about 4 or 5 minutes. We don't get a phone call, we're leaving. 888-659-3727. But what I wanted to say, Joe, is we're talking about what's happening in the industry, of course, on the Facebook chat group, where all the doctors are. Mm-hmm. And there is this... I was talking to our undercover doc about this. And by the way, guys, Tuesday, undercover doc is calling in with some incredible inside information that you are not going to want to miss. Undercover Doc went on another undercover mission, and I got to tell you, the shit got real. So
nice.
That's Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Check out Undercover Doc, and you can speak to him as well. But
I actually have my own undercover patient. I didn't even know he was doing this, and he went undercover, and he recorded his conversation with a doctor.
I heard about this,
and it was about me. That is undercover operations at its best.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is pretty amazing from what I understand, and it's very telling, and it's very, let's just say, damaging.
Yes, and not to me.
Right. And very. It shows not only complicity, but it shows actually out and out guilt and liability. I just found it fascinating. People are so fucking stupid.
They really are.
They are so fucking stupid, and these are doctors.
Doctors, absolutely.
But anyway, so there's this whole myth that there is some sort of a black market industry in the hair transplant industry. Now, in cosmetic surgery itself, there is truly a black market. There are these, people, like up in Washington Heights, New York, who are injecting silicone into women's butt cheeks and into their lips, and there's a true black market in the field of cosmetic surgery. What we are not seeing, which we did see at one point, because many years ago there were a few garbage men who were performing hair transplants late at night and after midnight in a facility on Long Island. That doesn't seem to be happening anymore. There's no one who is performing hair transplants that we're aware of in their garages who are unlicensed to perform this surgery. There's no one who's inviting people to their apartments to perform hair transplants who are not physicians. There really is no black market. Sadly, what is being presented as a black market is just the new normal of this industry. And a lot of people who are promoting this notion of the black market, as Undercover Doc has said, they are the fucking black market. If it existed, they're part of the black market. If what they're claiming is black market, some of these guys are guilty of being part of this black market. I need to put that out there. So it is a misnomer. When people are warning you about a black market in this industry, a black market does not exist. This is just the new normal of the hair transplant field. There are people out there who will do anything to get your money. There are people out there who do anything to con you into a sale.
Even people that have been in the industry for many years. This isn't strictly related to new clinics or these so-called black market clinics, which, as you said, is not really a thing. Some of these are like established clinics that have been around forever.
I can call a clinic tomorrow, an established clinic, someone who is an incredible reputation. I will get a consultant on the line. That consultant will tell me that there's an opening that just opened up, a cancellation that just opened up for Monday or Tuesday. And they will rush a consultation online, essentially sight unseen, and try to make that sale during that first conversation. Is that black market? I don't know. You tell me. That is the industry that we are in today. Are there doctors out there who are signing these, I don't know, what are they called? These amendments stating that they are not delegating surgery to technicians?
Declarations.
Declarations, thank you. Yeah, they're all signing them, and they're all doing it, or a lot of them are doing it.
Yeah.
It's all a bunch of fucking hypocrisy. So what I say is, let's tell the consumer the truth. Let's tell the physicians the truth. Let them know there is no fucking black market, that the market is just fucked up. It's broken, and it's time to fix it.
That actually reminds me of what you were talking about earlier with the doctor that posted in our private Facebook group a picture of himself sitting at his desk, and behind him is his computer screen with us, you and me, sitting side by side on a screen. And I don't know if you know this, but he responded, or he made a post about what's going on here, and he says, and this is important for doctors and clinics watching this, and patients and consumers watching this. He says, not only patients but also doctors should watch The Bald Truth and learn something from the show. Sometimes people aren't able or don't make that emotional connection unless they feel it for themselves. Many doctors see hair transplants as something extra they offer, and coming from old-fashioned medical schools or hospitals, they are conditioned that patients need them. Change within a group comes slow, and many times it starts from a single individual. A group that follows and works as one, though, can change a lot more faster than one individual.
Well said, except for the more faster part, but well said.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just busting his balls. And I really appreciate the fact that he took the time to post that. You know, every doctor, any ethical physician should take that same fucking picture and just share it across Facebook. Have themselves watching us on the program and saying, listen, we're listening to you guys. We're listening to the consumer. We want to help. We don't want to be part of the fucking hypocrisy and the problem anymore. We want to be part of the solution. You know, I was talking to my British friend through email and through WhatsApp, and I told him in writing, I said, what's your name? I said, you could either be continue to be part of the hypocrisy or part of the solution. That choice is yours. This guy is choosing to be the former, to be part of the hypocrisy. And I'm repulsed by it. It's repugnant to me. And it makes me feel like there's no fucking way that I would ever want to work with this guy in any capacity whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's it. And and I'll take a call in a second, guys. 888-659-3727. On the other side of the spectrum, on the other end of the spectrum, I was speaking to someone, a U.S. doctor today, who actually gets it. An incredibly well-connected, just actually a board-certified general surgeon who's been doing this for a very long time, very well-respected, former president of the ISHRS, who actually gets it and says, nice. You're right. This is how we have to do this. This is the correct approach. We need to educate the consumer and stop insulating ourselves.
Well said.
Thank you. I just made that up. No, they, he, she, whatever, said that. Something like that. Anyway, okay, it was a she. Fucking she is a woman. And she's smart. And she's smarter than all you testosterone-driven guys out there who are just trying to swing your dicks and say, hey, look, we don't want to accept these guys as being credible. Just because the IHRS and the American Hair Loss Association are the most resourced and referenced organizations in the world for hair transplantation, and just because we have the connections with the mainstream media, and just because the consumer sees us as being credible as opposed to your organization, it doesn't diminish what you guys are doing. You diminish it yourselves by not accepting that you have the opportunity to leverage the power of trust to help patients and to save your organization. Let's take a phone call. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Jay Sporan. I've called in a couple times. I'm calling from the Philadelphia area.
Hey, Jay, what's happening? You say Jake or Jay?
I talked to you guys.
Is it Jake or Jay?
No, it's Jay Sporan on the chat. I don't really like to use my full.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man. How's it going?
Oh, J, like the letter J.
With McGrath.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have the whole story with McGrath.
Like the guy that busts my balls in the chat all the time.
No,
I'm just
I
kidding.
actually haven't been on the show.
I'm just fucking with you. So
you
what's
can call
up?
me Jay. That's fine.
All right, Jay.
Fine. So I thought I'd call in because one, I wanted to update on my progress after having a FUT procedure with Dr. Cooley, and then also because I had some interesting posts. I have a forum on the Hair Restoration Network. I kind of like posted my whole McGrath story and then my Cooley story, and I just had the other day another guy post where he had a similar procedure to me, post another McGrath absolute failure.
Really?
So I was like, I have to call in. I've got to update my status, and I've got to tell them about this.
Here's what I don't actually.
Really bad.
This is what I don't understand, and it's important, and I have to try to understand this. It seems like people who are having issues are going to the wrong resources for recourse. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, why not complain and file a complaint with the IHRS? Why not contact us directly so that we could help to adjudicate this and see what the fuck is going on? I don't understand that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I guess I should do that. I just been calling in and contacting you guys through this.
Yeah, but you have to, again, sadly there are, there's a process, and everything has to be done in writing. In order for us to truly adjudicate this, we need all complaints to be in writing, simple. Just stick to the facts. And that even goes for posting on our message forum. Now, we have to verify the post. And I guess that's why some people don't do it, because they don't want to be verified.
And keep in mind that, going to a different resource, it's like going to the American Medical Association to complain about, someone that performs clown duty at birthday parties.
Right.
It's like it's complete. You need to go to, American Medical Association if you want to complain about doctors. You go to the Clown Association to complain about clowns. So, you need to go if you want to complain about someone or you want some sort of action taken. You need to go to that resource where that individual is associated. Exactly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just have been simply calling in and updating you guys on things. I'm generally really busy, so I haven't had time to I haven't even been able to listen to the show for almost 2 months now, just because I've been so busy with my company.
I hope it's a good busy.
But yeah, I can check it. I can check it out. Yes, it's a good busy, and I haven't worried about my hair in almost 2 months. So
that's
since
great, man.
The 4th month after the Cooley procedure, I've kind of stopped worrying because it's night and day compared to my first procedure, and I really am happy with the results at this point. The scar is way smaller, and I feel like I'm super critical, and I can barely tell I had a hair transplant at this point.
Wow.
Very cool.
That's great.
Nobody can tell. I've asked so many people, and nobody can tell anymore.
Dude, that's amazing.
So
and it's only after 4 months?
Yeah. Now I'm at 6 months.
6 months.
It's even better at 6 months. Yeah.
Very cool.
I'm very happy with it.
That's
I might go back to him just to see if he can fill in a little bit of the scar with FUE, so then I can go a little bit shorter. But I can already go pretty short, maybe like a 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's great.
So it's not really a big deal.
So tell us. I'm curious to hear about the other story, and I'm not going to send people to read the story. I mean, this guy is more than free to post it on Bald Truth Talk, so that it could actually be, we can see that it's a real patient.
Yeah, the only reason it stuck out to me was because he sent me a direct email, and he was like, "How were you able to get a 50% refund from McGrath? Because he offered me a free second transplant, but I really don't want to go back." So he was sending me all these messages, asking me questions, and it kind of prompted me to start looking into hair transplants again, and then listening to you guys and calling, because it's true. If you get a good transplant, you kind of forget about it.
Of course.
You kind of just move on with your life.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
So the only reason Yeah, go ahead.
You go ahead.
Okay. So the only reason I got pulled back in a little bit is because of this guy. I was like, oh, shit, I know what that feels like to be there. Because I was there for literally 1.5 years of my life where I was miserable.
Yeah.
Because of my bad hair transplant. from the same doctor. And I'm like, okay.
Now,
right.
now tell me, I'm curious. See,
in.
now you piqued my curiosity. Now, I definitely want to know more about you, and I'm glad. But you seem like okay. You had a good repair procedure by Cooley. You're happy. You're moving on. Great. Now you kind of brought back in because this guy reminded you of your bad experience. What did this guy experience? And again, I want everyone to know this is hearsay right now, but I just think it's important that it's out there, and I'm curious.
So he had a similar procedure to me where he just wanted his temples filled in. He had good density in the rest of his hair, very good density. Young guy, looks like 28 or so. I'm trying to go back to Lotus pictures. I don't know why it's slow right now. And the density does not even remotely match the rest of his hair. I mean, it is not modern day dense packing.
And
it looks exactly like my hair looked.
And did he have a strip?
Yeah, a strip.
Okay. And how many grafts were placed?
Let's see how many grafts. I'm trying to scroll down to this post here. See if I can be accurate here. We got the 11-month mark. We spent this much. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's only the radio. Well, it's not really the radio anymore, but yeah. It's broadcast. Just so you guys know,
I don't see where he says the amount of grafts. I don't think he says the amount of grafts.
Okay. So he's unhappy. So right now he's trying to deal with a doctor, and they are not, they're not responding. They're offering him a free, like a touch-up surgery.
No. He's offering him a free surgery to fix it and add the remaining density. But he's saying, he saw my forum post and he's saying the same thing. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So he's like, I don't want to go back after if you promised me the result the first time.
Now, does the doctor in
the same position.
Does the doctor in the clinic know that this is being posted on a message forum? Do they have any idea?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm just curious. I don't know what kind of communication you had with this guy.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting. Well, it disturbs me. I don't like to hear this, man. So, if you communicate with this guy, you can certainly tell him to reach out to us.
Yeah, I did tell him. I don't know if he will. It seems like everyone I talk to that has a bad experience, and I've spoken to like 5 different people now who have all had surgeries with this surgeon, and they weren't particularly happy at the end. It seems like people don't want to call in. They don't want to be public at all. And I'm like, you don't even have to use a real name. What's the big deal? I don't know why.
That's unfortunately a pattern with a lot of people that get bad hair transplants. I mean, I know this because, I've dealt with so many people that have had bad hair transplants over the years, and for some reason, for a lot of people, it's almost like there's almost like a level of shame. They feel so ashamed that they even tried to do something about it, or that they made such a bad decision about whoever they went with, and it kind of reminds people that. And I don't think that this is true, but it reminds them that they were too vain. I don't think it's a matter of being too vain, but that's the way a lot of people feel, and they're paying the consequences.
That's how I felt. It's crazy you say that. It's crazy you say that because that's how I felt after the it was a year that had gone by. I felt incredibly vain. I'm like, I should have just shaved my head. You guys have recordings of when I called in, and I was like, I wish I just shaved my head. I wish I hadn't done this.
Yeah.
And
you're not alone. I mean, you're one of
now
thousands.
Now that it's fixed, I'm like, oh, I'm actually glad I did this. It looks good.
Yeah.
Well, it's unfortunate they had to go through that route and through that, year and a half of suffering. But in the end, it's great that you're coming away with a good result and that you feel, okay, yes, obviously it would have been great if you made the right decision the first time or if things didn't go awry the first time. But
what I learned is just something I already kind of knew the rest of my life is anyone that's trying to sell you on anything via like phone calls and stuff like that, just don't listen to them and just do your own research and look at a bunch of different cases and don't take anecdotal evidence from people, which it felt very much like I got, you know how like you can get sucked into car dealerships, you know, they always want you to come in and test drive the car and then they want to try to be your friend. That's basically what happened with the first clinic.
Yeah.
And then after that, I then went back to my old method, which is don't listen to anyone and just read a ton of reviews and look at tons of pictures and then decide for myself.
Well, I can tell
that
you,
was the big mistake I made. So that would be...
In general, no consultant is your friend. And they certainly will not be your friend once you voice that you're unhappy. Very few will be. There's a handful of guys who will feel really bad.
He disappeared real fast.
There's a handful of guys who
started voicing...
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they will...
After I voiced my disappointment, he disappeared real fast.
If they're especially if they're in your town, they may even meet you for drinks. I mean, they'll be your best fucking buddy throughout the entire process. They try to get you to post online. They'll try this. They'll try that. And then as soon as you voice a complaint, and I'm not saying everyone. There are some guys who are really, and Joe, worked for a clinic for a long time, so he had to deal with this himself. Joe, you lost?
So your audio completely cut out for me, like gone for about 10 sequends.
And what about now?
I caught the last part of it. Something about me doing something.
Yeah, that you used to cut out on patients as soon as they complained. No,
all the time.
That you're a guy that would hold these guys' hand and maintain a friendship. But the reality is, these are all salesmen. I'm sorry to say. Period. They are not working for the clinic. Now, Joe was in a unique situation where he wasn't making any commissions. So, he was doing a lot of things for the clinic. And that's it. It's a different situation. But, yeah, I tell people all the time, and frankly, I don't even like the process, and I'm trying to weed it out of the industry. And Joe, are you all right there?
Yeah.
I can barely hear you. It's the Skype is really compressing the audio at this point.
That's fucking weird. You want to hang up?
No, it'll come back. It'll come back in just a moment.
Yeah. So, what are you doing? Opening up like an electronic safe or something, dude?
Shit.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Or Joe?
To you.
No, I was turning the air conditioning on and off. I was changing the temperature.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's important, and you can tell your story again, because I think it's important that people hear this. I do not, and I'm really trying to weed this out. And one thing that I'm going to be doing this year, we're actually adding on kind of like an advertising arm, to, and I don't mean advertising for physicians. I mean, I'm talking about scrutinizing their promotion and their advertising and what's happening in their clinic and how they're using consultants and all of that stuff. And it's kind of going to be a division to the IHRS and the American Hair Loss Association. And we're going to be setting certain parameters and rules and also provide consumers with the information they need to help them avoid being sucked in by these friendly buddy salesmen.
Yeah.
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 So
that's basically what happened to me.
So I think your story is really important.
I find it interesting that there's a push online with the consultant that you were talking about, where there are other people online talking about how if you have any questions, if you're watching them on YouTube or whatever,
that's how
outlet that
it
you're
started
on.
with me.
Hey,
I called
you know
him
what?
because of that.
Just give this guy a call. Here's a cell number. He'll be happy to talk to you just to answer basic questions. And this is a typical type of scenario, and I'm not talking about just this outfit, but where consultants will drop you like a hot potato at the first sign of trouble, because their job is to bring new clients in, not to deal with clients that are complaining. And I never like that. In fact, one of the things I do when I work with clinics is I help to make sure that I help to craft and make sure that their post-op, that the way that they deal with patients after their procedure, good and bad, is just as powerful as before they had a procedure. And I think that's super important. And what you went through in this type of arrangement, I think is one of the things that puts a black mark on this field in general.
And here's what's important. You said, and this is interesting, that guys don't want to come out. They don't necessarily have to come out. If you can bring, like you said, 5 guys to the table that have the same exact issues, we can affect some serious change. And I'm willing to do that. That's the point. 1 complaint or 2 complaints that could be adjudicated, that's not enough, especially when you're dealing with, potentially hundreds of patients being, having surgery, a year. But 5 who have the same complaint or 6 who have the same complaint, that's some meat right there. So, it's not in my best interest or the best interest of the organization or the best interest of whatever, and it doesn't make me any friends by saying this, but, we're willing to take some sort of an action if enough people come forward. It's as easy as that. So if this guy who's posting on another network wants to contact us, he should.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, I'll see if I can get all of them together and put in the time to do that.
Listen, absolutely. And listen, like I said, that's if this was just a business for us and for me, that wouldn't be something that I'm saying. Any doctor that's on the IHRS, any doctor that works with us in any way is completely replaceable. I hate to say it, but there are hundreds of people that want to come on board. So it's not an issue whatsoever. Mm-hmm. My goal is to try to evolve the organization to the point where these things aren't happening at all. And if they are, they're not happening for the reasons that you're complaining about.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think if you can get to that point, you would solve a lot of issues.
Well, that's what we're trying to do, man. Anything else?
Unless you guys have a particular question for me or anything you want me to talk about, that's it. And I'll let you guys get back to the show.
All right, man. Well, listen, I'm really happy that you're happy with the results now, and consider it Life Plus. You dealt with something that you were struggling with. Now that anxiety and that pain, that stress is alleviated, and you feel like you made a good decision in the end. So that's great. You lucked out, man.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling. Yeah, I'm really happy for you.
I feel like I did.
All right, man. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks for the call.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right.
See you,
all right. Have a good night. Bye.
Yeah, it bothers me. It disturbs me, and I try to be fair to everybody. I try to be fair to the physicians,
of course,
as well. And you can't just take one person's experience or 2 people's experience out of hundreds of experiences every year.
Yeah.
Can't do it. But if 5 come out, 6 come out, 10 come out, and it's all the same shit, and it all boils down to a couple of things. They were lured in by bullshit online. The consultant was a fucking salesman. Maybe something was going on with the staff that day. Who knows? For years, this guy, there were no complaints coming in about this guy. And all of a sudden, shit's starting to change. Well, that has to be brought up.
It's got to be brought up, man.
Well, listen.
Things happen.
No more calls. I'm calling it a day. It was great doing the program for 45 minutes. I'm gonna get some food. It's ridiculous I had to rush to jump in the shower to do this fucking show when people aren't taking the time to call in. But you know what? It is what it is, man.
Hey, man. It must be a beautiful day in a lot more places today.
Let me see.
Because we got a good viewership going. We only got 6 likes. Go figure. No one's calling in.
Look, like I said,
no sweat off my back.
Look, eventually I'm just going to go away. If this happens, just do podcasts, continue to do what we do. Let these guys watch shit on demand. Don't give them the opportunity to participate and to interact with us or to ask us questions. And it really doesn't matter to me. I've been doing this for 21 years. At this stage, it's kind of like, yeah, when the show is killing, when we get a lot of calls, it's fun, it's interesting. I like the interaction for sure. I think it's important for other hair transplant, and other hair loss sufferers to hear people's stories.
Yeah,
that's really important. However, it's not necessary to get our message out there.
Agreed.
So I'll give out the phone number one more time, 888-659-3727. The phone doesn't ring in a second. I'm going to call it a shot.
Number from the UK is 0203-3724-683.
Dude, I was just kidding. I didn't want the phone to ring.
And it rang.
All right. Hey, man, you're on the air. Who's this? And where are you calling from? It's got to be Nico.
Dave from
It's Nico.
Oh, Dave. What's happening?
Dave, okay.
How are you?
What's going on, gentlemen? I just wanted to keep the show alive, so I figured I got to come up with something really fast.
Well, I appreciate that. Man. So what's going on?
Dave with
and gentlemen, yes, please, gentlemen, please press that button, guys. You know that little button up there? Please press it.
It's jumped. We got 13 now, but I want to see 20.
Well, I have a question. I mean, this doesn't pertain to me because I'm going the SMP route.
Right.
But here's a question I had. Dr. Floxam, who used to work with Dr. Oh boy, I can't remember his name now. The guy in New York. Floxam was like. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? Bloxam,
yeah.
Some people used to work with someone.
Well, he worked with another gentleman, Feller. Bloxam and Feller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not working with him now?
Oh, no. As far as I know, they are. No. But I was talking to Bloxam once. He was kind enough to answer my question. And I just wanted to know, Joe, if you're familiar with this phenomena where during, or of course you too, Spencer, if during FUE, when they extract, do they damage surrounding tissue? And can that, make those grafts, not unusable for future surgeries?
Well, it depends on yes and no. I mean, if whoever is pushing the punch in and scoring the graft is careless and doesn't really have a lot of experience, and or they're using a punch that's too big, which would fall back on lack of experience, then yeah, of course, it can damage the peripheral follicular units immediately adjacent to, above, or below that particular target graft. But I don't think that is, I don't think that's something that can be applied as a blanket statement. In fact, I know it can't, unless you want to be completely technical about this. Anytime you cut into the scalp, it's going to damage something. But if it's done properly, it'll only damage the tissue that's being cut. And you're avoiding damage to the graft that you're going for, the target graft, and you're avoiding grafts in the, like I was saying, adjacent to or above or below the target graft. So there's always a minor degree, no matter how delicate or how skilled one is, to the tissue. But if there is experience, if there is understanding, if there is a steady hand, then the neighboring grafts are fine.
Wow.
I don't want to speculate that this was being stated as a matter of fact across the board in all cases, because my opinion is 180 degrees from that. I think it depends on experience, just talent. I mean, there are so many things that go into it, but I would disagree with that. Absolutely.
Okay. Let me get off the air, gentlemen, because there's guys who've got questions for you.
No, there aren't.
Thank you so much.
No, there's not.
No, these
That's why we're about to jump off the
these
air.
motherfuckers are lazy today. All they want to do is they take and they take and they take, and they don't no, honestly, they don't want to give it their time. I know that sounds like, I'm not bitter about it, but I don't understand. It's like, hey, look, we're here for you. We do the live show for you guys. There are weeks when the phones are off the hook, and then there are days like this.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to my girlfriend today, and I was talking a little bit about, about my SMP that I still have yet to do, of course. And I mentioned to her, I said, you know what, you've got people doing hair tutorials on YouTube that get 1 trillion views. And when it comes to gentlemen like both of you who are providing incredible insight into actual surgery, there doesn't seem to be as much, focus by consumers, and it's just shocking, really, honestly.
Well, the reason for that is people want to be fixed. They don't want to learn. And I found that throughout my entire career. We have really the most invaluable resources online that exist. But if someone has a fucking ebook to sell that they wrote in their basement and they claim that they found the cure for hair loss, people buy that first. And then they circle back after they've been fucked up somehow, and they find us, or they find the American Hair Loss Association, or they watch this broadcast. That's the way that it is. All the guys with the, I guess some of the millennials with the kind of like the cool, taglines, or they say, I'm just putting this out there, like, do your PRP at home, make your own laser helmet, this and that. That's what gets eyeballs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't offer that because it's not really. It could potentially do more harm than good. So, these are, especially the home-based PRP. Jesus Christ, it's like there's so much wrong with that line that we could do a whole show just on why home-based PRP is a really bad idea.
And I also say, and listen, I think there's nothing wrong with trying to find a good price for a hair transplant. If you can find a good clinic at a good price and you can save a lot of money, absolutely that's the way to go. But to make price the deciding factor and be, traveling thousands of miles to have a hair transplant in a foreign land just based on price without really knowing about the clinic, that's a bad idea. And promoting that is not good, in my view. And that's what's happening online. But again, I see nothing wrong with trying to get if you can get a hair transplant, a decent hair transplant for $3,000, then go for it. But what people don't understand in general is,
what's a decent hair transplant?
What's a decent hair? What's a decent hair transplant? You're not going to get that in the U.S. or in most European countries, and in general, even in places like Turkey, India, whatever, there are corners that have to be cut in order. Even in places in Asia or parts of Europe or like I said in India, things have to be cut. I was speaking to an Indian physician who applied to the IHRS. I asked him what instrumentation he used, and he said that he can't currently afford any of the known U.S. instrumentation, so he's using something that is not quite as good, but made in India, that is kind of like a replica of something that's being used here in the U.S. Also, their holding solution, not the best holding solution in the world. He said the problem is that they cannot afford to purchase these really critical instruments and different aspects that make the surgery better and make a profit. They can't do it. So that's what people are getting, and they don't even know it.
Wow. Very, very insightful.
Yeah.
Well, both of you gentlemen, you both told me that I was not a candidate with my amount of hair loss, practically a Norwood 7. And Joe, I could still hear you're telling me, what are you going to do if it doesn't work out? And I think that was the defining sentence. That was like, okay, you know what? I'm not strong enough. I can't handle it. But anyway, gentlemen.
Fortunately, too many people learn that after the fact, so I appreciate your comment about that.
Wow.
My question to you is, you haven't pulled the trigger yet. Are you scheduled to pull the trigger for your trichopigmentation?
I spoke to Eric from Head Inc., of course, and Eric, I was going to do it, and unfortunately, I got really busy, so, I should have done it in September, but like I said, the last time I called, he invited me in to watch one of his clients, and the before and after was unbelievable, and he's it's like we were talking about the guy upon which he did the work, and the guy won't let him publicize, because I guess the guy, is afraid to, even though Eric said, hey, I'll cover your eyes or something like that, but the guy didn't want to do it. But the guy looked amazing, and I saw it with my own eyes, and I know you recommended him, Joe. That's how I found out about Eric, by your recommendation. I saw your recommendation online, actually, and that's how I found out about him. So I'm still all in. It's temporary, which you recommended, because, you don't want anything like this permanent for obvious reasons. It can be botched, or it, theoretically at least, or it can get into this, it could turn colors and all the negative associations with the long-term effects of a permanent dye. And it may not even be permanent after all, and there's just complications with that. But I'm still, I'm very, very motivated to do this. There's no way I'm not going to do it. I just have to find the time.
Yeah. Yeah, well, fair enough. And you touched on something that still befuddles me. It's like, when you got people doing their research on this, and they go to different clinics where they talk about the longevity of the pigment. They might have figured, oh well, this is a question I should ask, and so they ask the question, and the answer is, oh well, it should last at least 5 to 7 years. But no one thinks to ask the next logical question, well, how long have you been performing this procedure? Oh, 6 months or 3 years. It's like, how do you know it'll last that long then, or it won't last that long if you've not even been doing the procedure that long? So it's a side of the hair loss industry. It's a little pocket of the hair loss industry that I feel is just completely rife with contradictions. And not to mention the other things that go along with this industry is people flat out lying to you, misrepresenting their qualifications, lifting photos from other clinics and using them in their own gallery. The list goes on. But I'm glad that you were able to find someone who I feel is at the top of their game and is at the top of the industry as far as skill set, dedication, ethics, and their approach. So, if you do wind up going through with this, please keep us updated on that.
And I'd love to see before and afters, if possible. Send them to Joe, and
don't be that guy that doesn't want to share.
Yeah.
Okay,
all right,
no
Dave.
problem.
Listen, man. Thanks for the call.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
All right, take care.
Thanks.
All right.
Take care.
Phone number 888-659-3727. We will stay on the air for as long as you guys choose to call in. But Joe, you were talking about just the typical stuff that people don't even think about, the stealing before and after pictures, just the complete nonsense. That's as bad as it was, and it was bad for a long time, for many years. I'm just seeing it's rampant now. There isn't a week that goes by that I'm not alerted to the fact that someone is prominently using either the American Hair Loss Association seal or the IAHRS seal on their websites who are not members. They just lift the fucking seal. And then when you contact them, they blame their web person.
Of course.
Now, how would their web person know that this was an important credential? How would they know that this is an exclusive credential? And if they were to put this on your website, wouldn't they check the websites of the organizations to make sure that you are actually a member, or maybe ask you if you're a member or an accepted member of these organizations?
One would think.
It's complete fucking bullshit. I was talking to this great, again, she's fantastic, by the way, as Donald Trump would say. Really just a smart person, and totally gets what we're doing and gets me. And that's a good feeling, because I've been doing this for so long, and there's so many people that just still don't get it. But we were talking about, one of the politicians out there. And the reality is this politician has been trying to, burn his own competition in some way or another, and make claims that they're doing things illegally or they're misrepresenting themselves and all this bullshit. And then I go on his website, this is a few months ago, and it states clearly that he's double board certified by the American Board of Dermatology and the American Board of what is it? The ABHRS,
American Board of Hair
Restoration Surgeons or Surgery, which is not true, because the ABHRS is not an ABMS board. You cannot legally say that you are double board certified if you are not double boarded by two ABMS recognized boards.
Yeah.
He's the first one to attempt to blow the whistle on somebody. And I go to this fucker's website, and it's right there.
He's doing the same thing.
And it's just like, holy shit. Now, forget about the Wayback Machine. We know it's always there for public consumption.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah. Take a screenshot and shows how long it's been there, and how long this guy's been promoting himself as double board certified. Have that screenshot. And we post in this private group, and I don't out him publicly because I didn't want to embarrass him. But I happened to mention something like, well, isn't it a similar issue, or isn't it, ethically questionable to claim that someone is a doctor claiming that they're double board certified, and one of the certifications is from the ABHRS? No response. Within 30 minutes or so, that website was changed. And then the doctor responded, somehow trying to evade it. And he put something else out. And then he mentioned his website saying, yeah, I'm updating my website. It's a work in progress. Something like that. Really, it's been a work in progress for how many years? How long have you been promoting the fact that you're double board certified when you were not?
I think it was a matter of years.
No, it was only months. It was only maybe a year or something like that. It could have been less, but it was a long time. So, like, what? Yeah. You didn't look at your website? You didn't give it the thumbs up from your web person? Don't they pass this? Doesn't this go past your desk before it's put up online? It's all fucking bullshit. They are all part of the fucking hypocrisy. And that's what Undercover Doc wants to talk about. I mean, he was going off last night. And he's difficult to follow because he's a shadow, basically. Right over your head, Joe. Just not even paying
Sorry,
attention.
I'm just some things popping up in the chat room I was reading. What was that? Shadow? What?
I'm trying to talk to our Undercover Doc. It's distracting because he's just a shadow.
He is a shadow, isn't
he?
He is.
But
it's incredibly valuable information, though.
But the stuff
I love his stuff.
You have to understand, this is a guy, member of the ISHRS since its inception.
So he too knows where all the bodies are buried.
Yeah, and the shit that he's telling me is just. He basically says if they continue going down this path, it is hopeless, not only for the physicians, but for the patients that they claim to serve. That the industry will end, and it'll go up in flames. And at least what he meant was the industry, being a true discipline of medicine
as a specialty,
being a true specialty, being the incredibly nuanced and elegant cosmetic procedure that it actually is, that it's just going to go away, and it's going to go away very quickly.
That actually brings up a very interesting possibility in my mind, in that potentially over the course of the next few years, as a specialty, hair transplantation surgery can completely disappear and be absorbed by the greater cosmetic surgery industry.
Well, that's what's happening right now.
Or not so much cosmetic surgery, but medi-spa type of cosmetic procedures.
You're going to be able to get microblading, hair transplantation, PRP, Botox, fillers, all in the same facility. And currently,
it's already happening.
There's a doctor who I actually used to work with, who I no longer work with, who essentially changed his hair transplant practice into a medi-spa. He's just promoting his new injector. An injector. Not a physician injecting these, and I don't know if she's an RN or NA, but the reality is these poor women and men, they go in and they think they're getting something innocuous injected into their faces. And what's not being told to them is the possibility of necrosis, skin, tissue death on their faces, just by getting a simple filler injected.
Yeah.
That everyone's physiology is slightly different. And you kind of know where the arteries are, and everyone has basically the same structure, but there are the anomalies out there where that structure is slightly off. And if you hit an artery, if you hit a main vein, you clog that shit up with those fillers. That's it.
Done.
You're finished. You will never have the same face again. And it is more common than you think. In my opinion, to claim that this is some sort of an innocuous procedure, it's non-invasive, because it's just a syringe being put into your face, that's a fucking lie. You're taking real risks every time you're injected. And every time you're injected, you're actually causing and guys, we'll take your calls in a second, you're actually causing some degree of fibrotic tissue to develop. And especially when you're injecting fillers and you start at a young age, you're increasing that pocket of skin in that area with every injection. And that is why, and causing scar tissue, that is why in time, if women use enough filler, they will get this big puffy face. And men too. There's a guy at the hair transplant conference. I mean, the guy looks like a roasted chicken at this point. He's so fucking tan, and he's so bloated with fillers.
I know what you're talking about.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It's bad out there, guys. Be careful.
And I see poor women in my neighborhood, and I'm like, I know that you were an attractive woman, and I know you want to maintain that attractiveness. You've been sold a fucking lie. You've been sold the new normal of cosmetic surgery. I got to tell you, with what I know, I would tell any woman, you avoid these fillers like the plague. And I had a plastic surgeon on Plastic Surgery Live, and we were doing just a pilot show. And he was kind of uncomfortable after it came out. He told me so. But he said that, fillers have their place, but I would never have them done or allow my family to have them done. And frankly, it's better for my business because it accelerates aging. And more women are going to need facelifts.
Yeah.
Think about that. And doctors are willing to fucking do this for money. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Alex from San Diego. I called about 4 or 5 months ago.
Alex, welcome back, man. How are you?
How's it going, Alex?
Good. How's your Friday going?
It's a lot better now that you called.
Good answer.
It's margarita time pretty soon, I guess, right?
Dude, I am going to go out and get hammered tonight. No, actually, I think I'm just going to see a movie and have some dinner.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll just cut down straight to the point. I had a quick random question to ask, like a couple, and one of them is I'm thinking I switched to brand name, so now I'm on brand name ProScar, and everything seems to be working out okay. The only thing is I was wondering if I were to add another regrime, what do you guys suggest?
Another what?
Like another, like a Rogaine or another, like something else on top of it.
Okay. I thought you said migrime. I'm like, what the fuck? Is he trying to say milligram?
No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay.
It's all right.
I was just thinking, what else can I just give it that extra punch? Would it, Nigerol or something else?
Well, here's the thing. You're calling in and saying that you switched a brand. You're doing well.
Yep.
So I'm assuming that you have a cessation of your hair loss and maybe you regrew a little hair or your hair just looks better?
It just kind of like stayed the same, I believe, just kind of maintained. But I'm kind of, the thing is I want what I had before.
All right.
So,
well, you're not going to get it. I'm just going to tell you right now, it's not going to happen. You can add something. You can go through a telogen effluvium or, a tremendous effluvium. You can really fuck yourself up. If you are stable right now and you're not getting worse.
Yeah. No.
Have you gotten any better? Is there any improvement in the quality of your hair?
Slightly.
Okay. That's
how long have you been taking it? How long have you been on the medication?
It's been like 10 years, I believe.
Dude,
and when did you switch to name brand?
5 months ago, I called you guys.
Okay. All right.
Dude, you're supposed to remember this shit, Joe. Come on.
Of course, I know. Well, we've only had 3 calls between now and then, so.
It's fine. I mean, it
seems like
it. Joe just gave me the whole scoop of, just making that switch and buckle up and be careful kind of thing. And I decided to do the switch, and it stayed the same.
Well, here's how I feel about it. Unless you are seeing things change and get it worse after 10 years and you're able to maintain what you have, I wouldn't fuck with it. Once you add something that can potentially work, you also have the potential of making things a lot worse. I've known guys who have maintained their hair for a decade, just like you, and said, you know what, I'm doing really well. Let's add this shit that I just found, whether it's a topical azelaic acid with minoxidil or something that they saw online, and boom, they're done. Off to the races, back into that hair loss hell and that deep depression. And all they wanted to do is give themselves a little boost. More is not better in this game.
No. I was actually thinking about that exact, almost verbatim line when I was thinking about. Someone actually asked about it in the chat room about derma rolling or derma stamping.
Okay.
And I was thinking, I was thinking about doing it myself earlier because every once in a while I'll pull out my derma roller and I'll roll my crown a little bit. But I was thinking about.
That sounds so dirty, by the way.
I know. I know. Hey, what else? It's me. Come on. But I was thinking about a case I heard about where this guy rolled his scalp bloody, and he was doing it every time he was rolling, and it's the idea that more is better. It's like, well, if it works if I do it 3 times a week, imagine how great it'll be if I do it 3 times an hour. That kind of thing.
It's not masturbation, dude. This
Exactly.
is for real. More is not better.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What do you guys think about Nigerol? Does that kind of work as far as?
He's not going to listen. He's not going to listen, dude. He's not going to listen.
No, I am listening to you, but I'm just saying it's just a shampoo. That's it. You know what I'm saying? It's like
it's not just a shampoo though, because it has a drug that reacts with the DHT in your scalp. And there has been evidence showing that the use of Nigerol shampoo, especially the 2% ketoconazole shampoos, can have a positive effect on hair loss. That also means that it could have a negative effect on hair loss. I know guys who start Nigerol shampoo and they're like, I'm just going to do it twice a week just as a little bit of an extra boost, and they start to go through a shed, and they're fucked up.
Oh, God.
I will say I do use Nigerol. I do use it a few times a week, 2%, which referring to, or to reiterate what Spencer said, the studies that were done on 2% ketoconazole were showing that it was as effective as 2% Rogaine, which was the original percentage that Rogaine was available in liquid form. So...
Dude, Joe always has to one-up me. You notice that?
I have to enhance you. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But no. So like you said, yeah. If it's going to work for the positive, it can also work for the negative, where you can get the shock loss. You can get even a telogen effluvium effect. I don't really know of any with ketoconazole, but at the same time, I don't know nearly as many people using ketoconazole shampoos like Nigerol as I do Rogaine or minoxidil. So it's not really, a concrete piece of info there. But I use it only because, not so much for the potential boost to my hair. I use it because I will have like a mild scalp psoriasis type of issue break out, just a small area. It developed several years ago. I just keep it under control using Nigerol, and it works well. I mean, I had to use a tar-based shampoo at first. It was pretty bad. I've talked about it a few times. It was so bad I questioned my future in the industry, because it's like I can't be talking about the perils of hair restoration surgery, the benefits and the negatives if I look like I got bad chemotherapy treatments or something.
I get it. I have one pink nipple. Ever tell you that?
Okay, yeah. So
I have one brown and one. It's kind of like the guy with the different color eyes.
That's nothing like a guy with different colored eyes.
Oh, God.
Well, I got a pink nipple. What am I going to do? It's not like a third nipple. It's just a little lighter in color. Anyway.
Hey.
Yeah.
One
go ahead.
last question, but well, you guys go ahead. I cut you off.
No, dude, ask the question.
That's okay. It's all about you, man.
Yeah. Always is. Always is.
Okay, 10 years. You guys have been on it for quite some time, too, the ProScar, Propecia.
25 years.
Almost 20 for me.
So, if shit goes down, what would you guys do? And what, like, you know, it's on that, like, borderline kind of...
I carry cyanide, actually. That's what
Okay.
That's my reality.
I've got a cyanide tooth.
Yeah. What would I do? I mean, I'd be in a fucking panic, man.
I don't know what the question means. Like,
I would up my dosage first. You know, right now I'm on intermittent therapy, so I'd go from the 5 milligram dose that I take once per week. Did I take it this week? I think I did. And then I would double that, and then if that wasn't working, I would triple it, and until I got to the point where I felt I did everything that I could with finasteride.
I would set up an IV.
Yeah, well, yeah. But if things then didn't work, I would then switch to dutasteride. Again, I'm not a physician, and if that didn't work, then I would see, okay, well, is the drug at least holding on, helping me maintain my donor? And if it was, it's possible, depending on where the loss was, if it was in the hairline, I'd probably potentially consider getting some hairline work done, never anything in the crown, and seeing how that worked out. And then worst case scenario, I would just, buy, go online, get some pieces, slap that glue that shit to my head and move on. That's my escape plan. That's my final out.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be a guy. I don't feel comfortable. I know I'm not gonna be comfortable shaving my head. I think that's the best possible option. But for me, I will do whatever I can to maintain my hair. But I also hope that I'm going to be, if this does happen, I hope that I can be rational about it and maybe not jump into surgery. Maybe try the hair first, or I don't know. That I just want to try to be rational about it. But I think playing with your dosages, trying to titrate, so that you find the right dosage with the least amount of side effects that works for you, is a smart thing to do if things lose ground. But here's the thing. There's no evidence that it does. You've been on it for 10 years.
Yeah.
And there's only anecdotal evidence that we see online that actually there's a 5-year mark or then there's a 7-year mark. Yeah. And I've been on it for 25 years. Have I lost a little ground? Yeah, I have. But it's been very slow.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on try to maintaining for quite some time.
How old are you now?
Yep.
I am 42.
All right, 42. You maintained for 10 years. You're in good shape, man. Why are you watching the show? I don't even understand it. Go home. Relax.
I like you guys. I like watching you guys. I don't know.
No, I appreciate
We'll accept that.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate the support, man. Listen, best of luck. Again, my advice, and I'm not a physician, don't fuck with a good thing, man.
No, thanks for the advice, guys.
All right?
Hey, enjoy your Friday margarita time, and glad you guys are still doing this, and all the best.
Thanks a lot, man. Take care.
Thanks for the call.
Bye-bye. 888-659-3727 is the toll-free number. There's someone who's been chatting with me that's watching us on a 4K 70-inch television. And all I can keep asking is, how's my hair? I mean, there's really something wrong with me, man. It's not about, like, how's the show? How are we doing? What do you think? How's my hair? That's it. That's all I care about. How does it look on a 70-inch television in 4K?
I think that's a legitimate concern.
It is, but I'm obsessed with it. I'm asking for screenshots.
Okay, that's too much.
Yeah. All right, guys. The phone number is 888-659-3727. I think we're going to call it a day. Actually, it's 3:30 here on the West Coast, 6:30 on the East Coast. I don't know what time it is in the UK because I know they changed.
10:30.
It's 10:30, so they changed over to daylight to regular time there.
Yes.
Already.
They fell back 1 hour.
That's got to be very depressing, especially in the UK, because I have to say, and no offense to the Brits out there, but the UK in general is kind of depressing.
It depends on where you go. There's some awesome areas of the UK.
Yeah, but I would say like
Beautiful.
you know, like the cities like London, for instance. You're talking about a very dreary.
London's one of my favorite cities in the world.
Well, listen, you want to get drunk. There's a lot of hot women too. I mean, I think they're starting to catch up with the dental care there. Now.
You had to go for the teeth, didn't you?
Dude,
I'm
ridiculously obsessed with teeth.
This is true.
You know, I think,
especially
here, and guys, we'll take your call in a second, 888-659-3727. I see guys who are driving, $400,000 Ferraris, and they got jacked up teeth. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? They figured this out.
Well, most of the Ferraris being driven around in London are not being driven by English.
Well, that's true.
They're being imported for the summer.
Yeah, I'm just talking about
from
here.
the Middle East.
I'm talking about here. We got guys here in the U.S. where they're making $10 million a year. They're killing it with cars, and then they they're guys my age. They smile, and it's like a homeless person.
But it doesn't matter. It's like once you're in that prancing stallion, nothing else matters.
It does matter. It matters to me. I don't want to
It
talk.
matters to
I don't
you.
want to talk to you.
So you tell them that. Say, dude, get out of your car, go down the street to the dentist office.
Yeah.
For my peace of mind.
They have Invisalign today. You can get your teeth whitened. It's not a big deal. There's veneers, all kinds of shit you can do. See who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, how are you guys? This is James from Texas.
James from
Hello,
Texas.
James.
What's happening, man?
Not much. Just hanging out. I'm glad I caught you on the live. So
I'm glad you caught us
I hope
too,
you
man.
I hope you guys are doing well. So I remember last time we talked about the Follicum and how they were to release like the updates or whatever at the end of the month.
Yeah.
So basically, on their website, they just released their phase 2A study stating that their injections were successful, and they're switching over to the topical studies now.
And how excited is the crowd?
Yeah, I don't know, but to me, it really doesn't mean anything. It's just, well, I guess ultimately what I want to know is when can we use it, and when can we start
I would say
recovering our hair?
The chances are slim to never.
Yeah, that's what I'm starting to realize, I guess, because it was more like a tease, is what it seemed like.
Again, it's just my opinion.
always is.
It's just my opinion, but I would say the chances of this ever coming to market or not coming to market as them changing their minds and saying we're going to bring it to market as a cosmetic, which is always a winner. That's more likely to happen.
Yeah, and then even then, like maybe they're like it's like any other product, right? Like it's coming in the future in the horizon, and then it never appears or never happens.
Dude, I'm still waiting for my flying car. You know?
Just speaking of, are there any? A question for both of you. Are there any promising treatments on the horizon that either of you know of or have heard of since you're in the know?
Nope. People are working on stuff. Doctors I know are involved in projects that are going on, but every one of them are 5 to 10 years away.
I spoke to somebody down in, I'm not going to say where, who is excited about a new cellular process that they're working on, and I can't even tell you the particulars of it because that would be divulging what it is. To me, that sounded exciting because it made sense, and it's essentially a combination of a cellular development and hair transplantation. And but we're still talking about the laboratory.
Yeah.
And I know people who are investing in this. I know that I've been asked to invest in multiple products and things like this, and one very recently, and I was like, you know what, I'll wait. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Listen, I was asked to invest. I was solicited to invest in a company that I was actually consulting for. And I was just like, there's no fucking way. You know, I know this industry. If I thought there was real hope, or if I was going to make a killing, making an investment, I would tell you guys, I you know, that there's a conflict. I've invested into this company, and I would pimp the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that
So I
be
guess it's
antitrust?
It wouldn't be, actually, but yeah.
Sorry,
yeah.
Just had to say it.
Antitrust. These guys are such idiots.
So I guess pretty much the only things that we have right now is what have been around for a while, which is finasteride, the ketoconazole shampoo, and the minoxidil, and ultimately transplant.
Well, right? There's a reason why prosthetics, hair pieces, are still the most used hair loss cure or solution in the world. Because we haven't gotten much further. Now there's definitely some potential. There's some new topicals coming out that I cannot talk about because I was asked not to. There are some kind of PRP-ish products that will be easier to use than having PRP that have potential, and that may happen in the next couple of months. And when I have the opportunity to talk about it, you guys will be the first to know. Mm-hmm. But that's it. I mean, they're working on it, but there's nothing that is going. There's no magic bullet at this point.
Right. So what do both of you use other than I'm guessing you guys both of you use finasteride, right? So what else do you use on a daily basis other than, or even weekly, monthly, or whatever you use, like laser or topicals or anything else other than finasteride?
I use one dose of 5 milligrams of finasteride, one pill, once a week, and I pray. I pray to God a lot, but that's it. That's my regimen.
Okay, so no minoxidil for you?
No minoxidil, no laser caps, no laser hoods, no laser combs, no PRP. I'm not putting any growth factors on my scalp. I'm not derma rolling. I am just using finasteride.
And I, on the other hand, just like I said to the last caller, am using Nizoral shampoo a few times a week. And frankly, I try to avoid sugar as much as possible. And I try to eat, I eat no processed foods at all. And I just avoid anything that I think is bad for me, or I avoid things that I think are not something that my body can naturally accept into what it needs for my body to function, if that makes sense.
So you don't use topical finasteride?
No, I use oral.
Okay, because I think I saw a video, one of your videos of with Dr. I believe it's Bauman, or I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I think he prescribes his own topical. And
he does.
Wondering, how effective is that? Do you believe? Or I know that's not as effective as oral.
Well, there are even people in the chat room. Usually, we've got I just realized that Rob's not in the chat room. He swears by it. He loves it. He's been using it for, I think, at least 6 to 8 months, maybe longer. But look, Dr. Bauman, he's what's it called again? 82F, Formula 82F, I think.
I think he's 82M, right? Or 82F. No, 82F is the finasteride.
82F is finasteride, then 82M is the minoxidil.
Right.
But
always got to one up me.
He's been offering that for a while, and he's got a lot of patients that use it. But he's not the only person that has a topical finasteride. There's one that's out of Italy that's supposed to be fantastic. I know the history of the development of it. I know the people that were involved in the original development of it. I know the owner of the compounding pharmacy in Milan, Italy, that creates this based on all the studies that they've been doing with it. It's very effective. And in some cases, it's called, well, they don't have a specific name for it, but the pharmacy that I know of, the pharmacy is called Pharmacia Pirati. And being Italian, it's Pharmacia with an F.
I just want to let you know that I am considering, and I have a lot of opportunity. I'll let you know when I sell out, but I mean, because I think these are products that actually work. I'm considering getting involved and just letting you guys know, you know what? After 21 years, I decided to get involved with a product that I can get behind. So it's possible that's going to happen. And my goal is to get everyone in the world to buy this product.
Because it will be the best product ever.
Ever.
So Spencer has something that he's withholding from us, right?
Yes.
Something in mind.
Yes, blame him.
No, I'm not withholding anything. I'm not withholding anything. But if I do get involved with it, it will be a topical finasteride product if I get involved with it, and you guys will be the first to know. And will it be better than anybody else's? I don't know. But you know what? We're going to market it much better.
Yeah.
How's that for being honest?
I believe that if the finasteride is the most effective, obviously everybody knows that. But if it was the topical now, it would be great. I think everyone would still pay the same amount, even more, for a topical, if they could just come up with one that's just as effective. Or,
of course,
that.
Of course they would. Here's the only thing that I find that is missing when people talk about topicals. When you take a pill, you are working on essentially you're lowering DHT systemically, and you're blocking the enzyme 5-alpha reductase, lowering DHT throughout your entire body. So every region of your scalp is being affected by this lack of conversion and this lower DHT. When you are putting on a topical, you're not putting it all over your head. You're doing your best to cover the spots where you're losing your hair, but you're probably not going to be utilizing it in your donor, which is vitally important, especially for the long term. And no one really talks about that. So I am a believer, if you can tolerate oral finasteride, to use it. If you can't tolerate it, then I think it's great that there are going to be more options for topical finasteride. But there's no way it could be as effective because your entire scalp is not getting that lower DHT. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So what about this is a question for Joe, since you were talking about different companies. You mentioned one in Italy. Have you heard of what about MORRF5? I guess it's from Intas.
Don't know.
That's another topical finasteride.
Look, let me just say this. There are probably dozens and dozens of topical finasterides out there because, just so you know, the reason why there isn't one product that you can find on any pharmacist shelf across the country or across the globe is because Merck, I believe, still has a patent on topical finasteride. And that's why you cannot just get it anywhere. So the only reason that you can get it at all is because currently you can legally get, or a doctor can legally instruct a compounding pharmacy to compound a specific medication based on his or her parameters, guidelines for one patient. So so what they do is, write a prescription. They've already worked with this pharmacy. They've already come up with their approach to creating a specific product, and so they get into an agreement with the pharmacy, if they don't already have one for other products already, to make this product when they get enough copies of a prescription so they can make some sort of bulk batch, and then they can send it out to their specific patients. But you can't go into any store or any pharmacy anywhere in the world and just pick it up off the counter or just walk in and say, hey, I want such and such brand of topical finasteride, because it doesn't exist. So all kinds of doctors are having all kinds of topical finasteride and topical dutasteride, and in some cases a combination of both, also mixed in with minoxidil and retin A and caffeine and all kinds of stuff for their patients. And so there's all kinds of variations on this. So when people ask me, have you heard of this? Have you heard of that? 9 times out of 10, I haven't. Because no one else has either, except for the doctor that's prescribing it.
So you're telling me Mark is causing all this, keeping the topical from being distributed?
Yes.
I wonder why that is.
Evil big pharma.
Evil big pharma, and
no, I mean they took out a patent years ago. They own the fucking patent. They have the right to this patent. This is America, my man. They're not trying to keep anything from you guys. And the reality is, the fact that it could be finasteride could be compounded off label. Like Joe said, any doctor can prescribe it or compound it or manipulate it in any which way they want. But they cannot. They cannot get it across. They cannot get it into pharmacies. That's the only difference.
Yeah. I guess it just doesn't have that reputable brand behind it like Mark does. I guess, like if you get it from a compounding pharmacy, you just don't know what it is because it's formulated.
Let me ask you this: if the brand had the American Hair Loss Association seal on it, would you feel it was more reputable?
Oh, for sure.
I'm keeping that line. Go ahead, say it.
That stamp of approval from an organization that is in the know.
There you go.
Well said.
I hope you heard that, Dr. B, Dr. Z, Dr. L, all you guys out there. The golden ticket is waiting.
Yeah, you said it yourself earlier, Spence. You said you have something that some topical that you can't talk about, and so maybe that's the next move.
Well, it could be. Listen, that could be my retirement plan. I'm kind of getting tired of the show. I got to be honest with you. I love you guys, but it's just like you're doing this for 21 years. I'll give it over to Joe, and I'll just sit my fat ass on a beach somewhere.
That's one thing I wonder, because you said you've done it over 20 years, right? And it seems like throughout the years, your hair looks like it. At least to us, it looks like it's stayed about the same, and that's pretty good for 20 years. And I wonder,
I've been on this shit for almost 30 years, but I've been doing the show for 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, FSK in the chat rooms, he says that you should call it Spincesteride.
I already have the domain. Go ahead.
Yeah, there you go.
Love it.
Yeah.
Topical.
That was good.
Yeah, so I was wondering, like, what keeps you motivated, because that's a very long time, especially for someone, or both of you, who appear to have stabilized their hair loss.
I really don't know. I got to tell you, I think it's because it affected me so much that I get frustrated with you guys sometimes if you don't call in, but it affected me so much. I know that when we're on the air and we're able to give people information, we're doing something good. That's it. Like, I don't have to do this. This is going to sound obnoxious. I do not have to do this for money anymore. That's just my reality. And I just, I love when people call in after they've listened to us for a few years, or guys like Vin from DC, who call in and say, hey man, you saved my life, and because of you, I decided not to get a hair transplant, and I spent my money on higher education. I got married, and I have this really successful career now. And I took all your advice. I still see value in that for myself. That's it. It's not altruistic. I do it for myself. I do it because I get something out of it personally. When that ends,
get a lot of satisfaction out of it.
When that ends, I'm not even going to tell you guys. I'm just going to turn everything off. I'm going to be off Facebook, off social media. Everything's going to be gone, and the next time you hear about me, it'll be like you're going to be reading my obituary. And that's it.
Yeah. Well, I think that even if you don't talk about hair loss, I think it's still a pretty neat show to watch both of you talk about whatever, just your personalities and in general. Just kind of like the Rogan podcast, to where they just like talk about whatever and random things, and especially because it seems like the audience knows you, both of you, and you kind of like one of the boys, like a friend, even though it's like virtual. But I would still enjoy watching the show, whether or not you talk about hair loss.
Well, and I appreciate that. I've been approached by a couple of guys, and one in particular who wants to do something like a man show type of situation.
I miss the man show.
Yeah, because I have a very unique, I guess, perspective on marriage and on. Like, listen, I'm an older guy. I've been through it all, so I could really advise guys. Well, not really. I mean, I'm not. I'm definitely not. I'm not to that level. The way that I feel is I have a. First of all, I love women. I have a lot of, admiration for certain women in my life. I've never been severely burned by a woman, so I don't have that type of bitterness. But I also have.
Then you haven't lived.
Yeah, but I also have certain beliefs that are truisms. I think that, I've talked about it before, but I just think that, I don't know if marriage has its place in the 21st century. I don't know. I'm not saying there's anything against marriage, but I think that sometimes of course, prenup. But I definitely think marriage can actually ruin a relationship for a lot of people. I know a lot of guys who have been married young, and they feel that they're kind of, trapped in this situation where
you lose motivation because you're off the market.
Yeah, where they should be living their lives a little bit, and it doesn't necessarily have to do with the person that they're with. Why can't you be with somebody if you want to stay with somebody for a long period of time? Marriage is okay, but I mean, you don't have to sign a contract with somebody. If you really want to be with them, you stay with them, and that's it. It's a real choice that you're making, as opposed to forming a corporation, so to speak.
Yeah, the actions speak louder than the piece of paper that says that you're married.
100%, 100%. But anyway, so I've been a friend of mine wants to do a program who's actually in the industry, and we've been talking about that. So I mean, who knows? I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess the bottom line is that I just have to stay healthy and enjoy my life, and I still enjoy doing this show. And what's great about the show? No matter who has tried to do a hair loss show, no one has done anything like this, and no one has succeeded, especially financially. And this is when I was on the radio. I had guys who were gunning for me, guys who had big bucks behind them, guys who were being sponsored by the Hair Club, Bosley, Medical Hair Restoration, all the big players, and they failed. And the reason they failed is because they could not develop a kind of a palatable and what's the word I'm looking for, Joe? Just a
digestible.
Just a real connectable relationship with the listener, because they were always trying to sell you some shit, and that doesn't work. So I appreciate your kind words, man. I really do.
It's really nice, and I love doing this show. I've been doing this show with Spencer for how long now? 5 years? 4 years?
Just
4 years.
Way too long.
Way too long. Yeah. Way too long. And I got to reiterate that it's almost like a high when we have guys. I think his name was Steve call in. This is maybe a year or so ago. He was at the airport, at the actual fucking airport, about to fly halfway around the world to go have a hair transplant. And we talked him down. We talked this guy down. He was standing. He had already gone through security. He was standing at his gate, looking out the window. He could see his plane taxiing to his actual gate, and he turned around and went home.
Wow.
And he followed up later and said that it was the best decision he ever made. That is what it's all about for me, because I know from my own experience that having a great hair transplant, or 7 great hair transplants, is an awesome, awesome thing. It is awesome.
So
let me tell you.
Are you saying that you're not doing this because of all the commissions you're making?
Well, some pieces of shit doctors would have you think that.
Yeah.
But
when I think
it is
about
awesome to be able to find these guys that we can help.
When I think about people who have written that, whatever, said that's what you do and other people in this industry do, it just fucking sickens me.
It sickens me.
It shows such a level of desperateness and just, what a lack of integrity that these people have.
Should I expound a little bit on what's going on?
Sure, why not?
So I got a notification from someone that I've been trying to help. I won't say where, but he had a bad hair transplant, and he went back to the clinic, the scene of the crime, as it were, and he was talking to. I'm not going to say where it is, but he was talking to the doctor that did the surgery, and before I get into the meat of it, he was, I think he was 8 months. I think he's 8 months post-op, and
you tell the story. I'm going to go get a spot of tea. All right.
Go ahead. A spot of tea. Anyway, so this is what's funny about this doctor. Okay, so the guy shows up 8 months post-op, and he's not happy with the result. I've seen the result. It's horrendous. I'm helping the guy try to figure out what his options are, and so the doctor tells him, well, you can't really judge the result because you're only 8 months, and you got more growth to come. I can see in between the spaces more hair is going to pop in, and the patient's like, yeah, okay, well, I can believe that. That makes sense. But then, almost in the same breath, the doctor offered 500 free grafts, 250 per side, and then almost in the same breath, still, he said, or maybe we could do 1,000. This is all for free to make the patient happy, which is great. But he just told the patient, we don't know what your final result is going to be like, but I'll do 1,000 grafts. And then he actually said after that, or more if you want.
Yeah.
To make you happy. So what happened? Well, what happened to the new hair that's supposedly going to be popping through after 8 months, or 9 months, or however long? So that's issue number one. Issue number two is he asked the patient, have you been speaking with anyone? And the reason he asked the patient this is because the patient was asking some intelligent questions that I let him know he should be asking. Yeah. And the guy said, yeah, I've actually been speaking with Joe Tillman.
Oh, name drop.
And that set this doctor off on a tangent. He lost his fucking mind. 10 minutes of bitching about me. And what was he bitching about? He was bitching about how I get commissions for every patient that I send to one of the doctors I work with. False. He was bitching about how I charge patients a consultation fee just to talk to me. And then he said, did he charge you anything? And the guy's like, no. Oh, well, he normally does. I don't do that. I have never, ever accepted a fucking penny from any patient.
I had no
for
scones.
My time.
I wish I had a scone, actually.
With your spotted tea. With your spotted tea.
Yeah.
And this is the kicker. This is the kicker. He said, I disagree with the way that he operates. He has approached me in my clinic twice asking us to work with him, which is a flat out fucking lie. I have only approached ever one clinic ever to work with me, and the only reason I did it is because the doctor kept getting free advice from me for 2 fucking years. And I said to him, shouldn't you just come on, let's talk about you coming on board so that you can, stop getting all this free advice from me? It's like, why don't you pay me? Never heard from him again.
Look, here's the point. If there's anybody out there who sees a doctor and they're concerned about Joe Tillman or anyone else in this industry, it's because they know that Joe Tillman and these other people in the industry are telling the truth.
Yeah.
And they are afraid of the truth because they know when the truth is out there, they will lose business. That's it. Good people in this industry love Joe. Good people in this industry love other guys who are doing, work in this industry. Yeah. The bad people in this industry, not so much. Me. They do not like Joe. There's there's people that don't like me, which is, I know that's hard to believe.
There's a few.
That's difficult to believe. And there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of bullshit out there, whatever it is. I don't give a fuck. When the time is right, I do what I got to do. But the reality is right now, and I tell Joe this all the time, we just keep our heads down. We do what we do. We educate consumers. We work with physicians and the industry in the way in which we could help to motivate them to do good work. And that's it. Everyone else can go fuck themselves.
And there's a member in the chat room, Jeff Litt, says, why don't you just say who it is if the doctor's outright slandering you? What a douche. He is a douche. I'm not saying who it is right now because the whole thing is actually recorded, and I'm looking at my options right now.
Oh, so I've been slandered, liable. I mean, my entire career. That's just the way that it is. Defamed.
Oh yeah.
That is the reality of this nasty, disgusting, repugnant industry, and especially the real lowlives in this field. The worst of the worst, the guys that are really damaging lives, are the guys that are out there trying to damage the good people in the industry because they don't want the truth to be out there.
Yeah.
And they're only fucking themselves.
Yeah, you guys have a good platform to spread the word, and I think that people fear how powerful your voice is.
Sadly, that's the case when they don't have to. All they have to do is start doing good work. Do the right thing. Take the time to learn. Say, oh, wait a second, you know what? Shit. There's a lot of people complaining. Maybe we need to change our infrastructure. Maybe we need to, send our doctor out, to have him trained. It's not fucking rocket science, man. It's hair transplantation.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to harm people to make money. The good news is all they have to do is make a few adjustments, get the right people, the right, tools and the right, hand-eye coordination and abilities to be trained by the right people. And within 2 months, they could start producing some fantastic work.
I think that's key, is that some of these doctors and clinics that are so threatened and would rather spend energy fighting and defaming and slandering, if they took that energy and put that into learning something, then they would be doing something positive for their patients, for themselves, and for the industry, and helping to turn this thing around. But unfortunately, they don't have that kind of vision. They're far too short-sighted to understand their own issues.
And also make friends with, influential people who could help guide you.
Yeah.
In the right direction on how to get trained.
What's amazing about this situation, I just remembered, is while the doctor was saying that I had approached them twice, his partner was asking me in a different phone call what it takes to work with me.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Anyway, just a little inside baseball.
Yeah, a little inside baseball.
All right, man, listen, we really appreciate the call, all the kind words. I wish you the best of luck. And when I come out with my super duper hair growth formula to the stars, Hollywood, Beverly Hills hair transplant formula, I hate that shit. Yeah. Everyone has that shit. The Beverly Hills sign around here, they're always doing some shit with the stars. That would actually be very funny if I marketed something that had like Beverly Hills, this to the stars, that like all the bullshit. People would buy it.
I think it should be a billboard that says Beverly Hills, get Spencerized. And people are like,
I
Spencerized? What's Spencerized?
I cannot do the courtesy laugh on that one. I can't do it.
Fine.
Beverly Hills is well known for its plastic surgery, so.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. You take a walk on Rodeo Drive, you will never want to have plastic surgery in Beverly Hills. If you see these duck faces walking around, that sounds terrible. And I want to make it clear, there are some very good plastic surgeons in Beverly Hills, some very conservative ones, some guys who really studied their asses off, and they're appalled at what they're seeing in their own town. But it is ridiculous. I go down to the bar, I go, to the Peninsula or whatever it is. I'm sitting next to some woman whose bag is literally bigger than the seat, and it's hiding her face. She turns around, and it looks like, what's his name? Rocky from Mask. Did you ever see that movie with Cher?
Yes.
It's like, what did you do to yourself, you poor fucking thing?
Wow. Maybe it's the culture.
But they all have good boobs, though.
Maybe they think it looks good.
Well, it's the new normal. And now women are aspiring to look like these man-made freaks.
That's what I was talking about in my my Kyle Christie hairline video, where it's like bad hairlines, like pluggy bad hairlines are the new normal, just like duck lips are the new normal.
Look, I have guys, and I'm going to let you take a call. I have guys my age who are going in for like Botox and fillers, friends of mine. And the first round of their Botox looks okay, but as they continue to do it, I'm just like, and I'm very honest. I'm like, dude, if you stop now, you're okay. Stop now, because you're going to destroy your face. They don't understand that. I'd rather have these wrinkles and these bags and all the shit that I have. And then when the time comes, cold, hard steel, man, that's the way to go.
Yeah.
That's it. It's the only
when
thing.
the time comes.
When the time comes, you got to go for the surgery. That's it. Anyway.
Yeah, that only then.
All right, man. You take care.
Well, hey, guys. So thank you for everything that you do. I know Spencer kind of has a foot in or foot out the door. But I hope that we get a heads up as to when you plan on leaving and what your future plans are.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I've been talking about having a foot out the door for the last 10 years. So, I mean,
oh, yeah.
But it would be depressing.
So it may or may not happen.
It will be depressing if I'm sitting here at 60. That's when I think Joe has to come out and just put me out of my misery.
Probably will at that point.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be the wise one by then. You would have gone through it all. All these topicals and all these lasers and all these. You can say that it's all BS. And
I've been saying that for years, dude.
Yeah, I bet you get tired of people asking. Especially the newbies that are just starting their hair loss process, and they ask
it's
about
all
all
right.
these.
That's what the pills are for, dude. I'm fine. All right, man.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later. Thanks for the call.
Guys.
All right, man. I appreciate your patronage, man. Take care.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see who this is. Hey, you're on the air. Who's this, and where are you calling from?
Yo, what's up, guys? It's Justin from Florida, baby.
Yo, what's up, baby? You got a new phone, man. What's up?
Where you been?
I've been living life, man. Partying.
That's what I like to hear.
So what's going on?
For you. What's up?
I'm still bald, baby. I'm still rocking the bald head.
It's because
owning it.
That's because you can.
Yeah.
You got to appreciate that shit.
Sadly, I got to, man. But hey, to all my guys out there, bald lives matter.
Yeah. And
vote for whoever cares about bald people.
Black hair matters too, man. Black hair matters. I get it.
Right. F LeBron for getting his hairline back. Go bald, baby.
Dude, you're the guy that told us, and I had no clue that. I mean, the whole, you guys walk into a room, and I mean, the brothers, I'm talking about African-American guys, if you guys who are listening don't understand this, and you are scoping out hairlines.
Hardcore.
You're judging people, you're judging your brethren by their hairlines. I never knew that.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I really don't think Obama would have gotten as many votes as he did if his hairline was receded at all. Oh man.
I don't think that he would have gone as far if he didn't dye his hair when he was when he was running for president. What do you think? His hair just turned gray overnight, like that gray overnight? Doesn't happen. Does not fucking happen.
That's what I'm guys. If you're black, your hairline matters. Other black people will you can walk in the room right now. They will start digesting you. All right. Oh, his hairline's receding. oh, let's keen in on that right there. Everything could be a great person. If your hairline is messed up, they're gonna target you.
That's amazing. It still amazes me because it took 20 years of me doing the show for someone to finally come out. I mean, you guys have been on the down low listening to the show forever, and
not sharing that nugget of information.
Not sharing that information.
It took me 23 years. When I found out, they told me, "Hey, your hairline is receding like a motherfucker." I'm like, "Really? I never noticed." I looked and I said, "God damn." They're like, they say, "Yeah, you got that George Chestnut hairline." I said, I never knew. So I look at a picture when I'm young. I'm like, "Yeah, my hairline is messed up."
Did you say George Jefferson? Hairline?
Now, here's the thing. I thought you got a new phone, but obviously either you didn't get a new phone or you're on Wi-Fi or you just have you live in an area with really shitty reception.
Why shitty reception combo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I would love to be able to speak to you in a very clear, connection because you're a funny dude.
Is it better now or let me see?
Just talk.
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. So what else is going on?
Oh, man. Hey, living life, man. It's crazy down here in Florida. I swear people get crazier and crazier in Florida, and I don't know if that's something in the water down here or what.
Now, Florida's a crazy, crazy fucking place. Now, obviously there's some very nice places in Florida, but I would say a lot of bizarre crimes are committed in Florida. There's a lot of drug use, allegedly, in Florida. Meth seems to be a tremendous problem in parts of Florida. Women that I've met who have been from Florida, and again, this is a generalization, are complete nut jobs. I don't know if
my sisters.
Yeah, I don't know if you find that.
Oh, go to take a trip to Miami. You'll see that everywhere.
In Miami?
Oh yeah, been in a spring break a couple of times. I don't know how I'm still alive.
Forget about spring break. I'm talking about the people that live there, man. Florida's a weird place because it's the South, and then there's some real Southern shit happening down there too that you don't think about. And they always say like all of us Jews go down to Florida from New York to retire, but outside of those areas like Miami or Boca or whatever it is, it's like no Jews allowed. We are not welcome in certain areas of Florida.
Well, what's weird about Florida is on the coastal areas, it's a completely different environment than further inland.
Yeah.
Going right down the middle of Florida, it's like you might as well be in Alabama. It's much more country.
Yeah.
It's really bizarre. I lived in Florida for till I was in my early teens, and I didn't even realize that until I'd go visit family that lived in Kissimmee, which is just south of Orlando, and it's like people riding horses on the middle of the road and shit. It's like, what? I was from the beach. I never saw anything like that before. It was only an hour inland or an hour and a half. It was crazy.
Riding horses
on the road.
In the middle of the road. That's nothing.
Yes. With cowboy hats.
Dude.
I didn't know anything about that.
I saw people killing chickens in their front yards. All right. That's how fucked up. That's how fucked up it is down there.
Yeah. Anyway, so FSK in the chat room. I've seen that in London.
Yeah. Tyler says it seems like I'm the type of guy who just smashed chicks in the car and dropped them off. Maybe in my younger days now. Now it's like I don't want to have sex in a car, dude. That's
too old.
Well, it's just like it's
painful.
My back hurts. I like to relax. I prefer to have a robe afterwards. Order some food. What was that?
I swear I keep seeing. I swear I seen a guy the other day like Jesse Jackson the other day. I was like, is that him? I was like, no. I swear it looked like Jesse Jackson. That's one guy I cannot stand.
Jesse Jackson?
Oh, man, what a piece.
Old hair lip Jesse?
What a piece of beep he is.
Well, look, I have actually no comment. You see, here's the sad thing. If I were to comment about any African-American person at all in politics, in any type of a derogatory way, that would be seen as being racist. And not saying that I have anything negative to say about Jesse Jackson, but that is just the reality in which we live today, my man. Now, you, as an African-American person, can say whatever the fuck you want. And there's a certain freedom to that.
Yeah, somewhat.
You know, now, you may not have had that before. You may not have had that before, but now you got it.
Yeah, somewhat. Now I hear it all the time. I say something. I can say fuck Jesse Jackson. That people, oh, you're supposed to be black. You got to support Jesse Jackson. You just lost your black card.
Well, no. You can't do it in front of in front of other black people because you will lose your black card. You have to be a Democrat, and you can't say anything against any of the black leaders in front of black people. But you have a free reign to say it publicly elsewhere. You know,
I lost my black card a long time ago when I was listening to Britney Spears growing up.
Oh shit! That's hilarious.
I like
man.
that. That's good.
Well, listen, dude, I appreciate the call. I'm glad you're still listening. And look, you know what? I'm glad you're rocking the bald look. And the fact that you're still listening to the show, even though you don't need your hair, it's, I appreciate that.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for having me. Have a good night, guys.
You got it.
Yep,
you take
thanks
care.
for calling in.
Bye-bye. We got to get this guy either a better service or a new fucking phone because I know he's funny. Like through every drop, I hear something that's funny.
Yeah, exactly. We need to take up a fund.
Okay. So I have I'm being texted currently by our undercover doc, who just went on a very compelling undercover mission, and also has a lot that he wants to offer on Tuesday about the field in general. Wants me to remind all the listeners, especially those who are just tuning in now, that he will be on in the shadows as usual, calling in to essentially tell the truth, the uncomfortable truth about the hair transplant industry and what really goes on for those who are considering surgical hair restoration, for those who've had surgical hair restoration and they don't know why the fuck they don't look good. And for anybody else out there that really wants to know the inside baseball, Undercover Doc is here to let us know exactly what goes on. Now, it's one thing to hear it from us. We have all the inside information. But to hear it from a guy who's been in the industry for as long as this guy's been in the industry, and for him to open up and be willing to tell the truth, that's a big deal. Very few people would do that, even though he's in the shadows.
So that is an episode of The Bald Truth that you don't want to miss, because let me tell you something, guys. The education, the information that we put out is incredible information that you need for your research, for your your journey through this. But Undercover Doc, this is going to be a big one.
Dude, that's next level shit, dude.
It is next level shit.
Yeah.
So be sure to tune in. I'm gonna put a schedule up for Tuesday's show pretty soon, so that instead of the day before or the day of, I'm going to do it probably tonight or this weekend. And be sure to tell or send it to your friends that are dealing with hair loss, that are doing their research. Try to help spread the word, because more people need to hear this kind of information from Undercover Doc.
Are you finished?
Not ever.
Okay. All right, guys, we're going to call it a night. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be on Tuesday. Again, Undercover Doc will be with us or calling in. Eventually, I will have Undercover Doc in studio. But, I don't know how he moves. He's a shadow, the guy.
He's a specter.
So I don't know if he'd actually want to be in studio. That's the whole thing.
You can still set up the shadow.
Oh, absolutely.
Situation. You can have him in the corner, dim the lights, have the modification to his voice.
Absolutely. You know, that's the funny thing. I do have to add more modifications to the voice, which I can do, just for effect. I think it'll be funny.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it is slightly modified right now. All right, guys, listen. What were you going to say?
I was going to say like old 60 Minutes and things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good.
The guy, the smoke, he's in the shadow and you see the smoke coming up.
Yeah.
All right, guys, until next time, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. You can check us out on thebaldtruth.com, subscribe, do all that stuff. Give us your email address. We do not sell your email addresses, so just put it in there in the subscribe box, and you will get notifications of when segments and programs are on The Bald Truth. And don't worry, you're not going to get too many because I'm too lazy to put them up. Joe Tillman's YouTube page. If you want to check out the stream live with a chat, and that's why I don't have a chat on my page, because I want you guys to go to Joe's page and subscribe. Go to youtube.com/hairtransplant-mentor, and you subscribe to the page. You ring the bell so that you get notifications. And if you're on there right now, do me a favor, like the program. We only have 14 likes. We should have at least 25 likes right now. So make that happen. Like the program. The more you actually take the time just to press that thumbs up button, the more popular the show becomes on YouTube, I'm assuming. That's an old man assumption. I have no clue, actually.
It does help, yes.
I just made that up. The American Hair Loss Association, we are revamping the American Hair Loss Association website. Also, we will be providing we have a licensing agreement with some of the major online resources, like WebMD, for instance, and we've been asked to provide some updates and new information for these mainstream resources through the American Hair Loss Association. So you guys will be seeing that shortly. That's AmericanHairLoss.org. Also, if you're considering surgical hair restoration, check out the International Alliance of Hair Restoration Surgeons. But remember, there's not a doctor who is part of the IHRS who doesn't have at least one patient walking around who thinks they got screwed. That is the reality of cosmetic surgery. So if you're considering surgical hair restoration, understand the entire scope and the possible pitfalls, and that's what the IHRS is all about. You know, we were the first and still the only organization in the world that provides this information, real information about the issues that surround hair transplant surgery. And all of our members who are part of what we do, they support our message. Not only are they part of an elite group of really skilled and ethical physicians, they're ethical not just in the practice of medicine, they're also ethical as far as truth in advertising, the way they market themselves, and the fact that they recognize and support our message of surgery is always a last resort. Joe, give out the websites where we're also streaming on.
Starting with United Kingdom, for the spotty, we've got hairlossexperiences.com. It is primarily a UK-based forum, but being the interwebs, everyone's got access to it, and it shows because they are growing daily in scope and membership and the number of posts and all that good stuff. Good people over there, particularly the admin/owner. Yeah. He's also a repair patient like myself and like so many of you watching this broadcast, and he gets it. He understands that it's important for the real information to be out there for consumers and patients to make the best decisions possible, and that's why he supports this broadcast and allows us to stream through his website. That's hairlossexperiences.com. Top of that, we have bellycapelli.forumfree.it. Sounds like a funny name because it is. It's an Italian.
Why don't they get a URL that's like maybe US URL also so that they could forward it to that other URL?
You know what? I think they do. Now that I think about it, hang on a second. Hair transplant.
So maybe you can make it easier for our listeners and our viewers to find them.
Transplant. Looks like their other link, I'm glad I didn't give it out, is expired. I think I might buy this mofo. So
yeah. I just bought Italian hair loss forum, so we can use that.
We can use that.
I'd be more than happy to sell it to him.
To continue, bellicapelli.forumfree.it. It is primarily an Italian-based website. That's why it's in Italian. But with any modern browser, it can be converted to English or your language of choice. The owner is also a repair patient like myself, and again, like so many of you, and like the owner of hairlossexperiences.com. And he's a good guy and understands and encourages our message to get to as many people as possible. And that's why he too and they too also allow us to broadcast through their web properties. So bellicapelli.forumfree.it.
And this guy's wife's hair is unbelievable.
It pisses me off. It's so unbelievable.
It's like
she got like a two-head.
It's like fucking Rapunzel.
It is
beautiful.
It's
unbelievable.
Incredible hair, and it's real.
Unbelievable.
But great website, great resource, and check it out. bellicapelli.forumfree.it.
All right, guys, we are not taking any more phone calls. You should have called in before when we were telling you that we were going to get off the air, but now it's time to go off the air. It's 17 minutes after the hour. And I'm done. It's the weekend. It's happy hour. There's some secretary waiting for me at TGI Fridays. Can never say that. As we speak, there's somebody who needs a green card waiting for me as we speak. Is that terrible to say?
No, not at all.
All right, guys. Until next time, be strong, God bless, and thank you so much for listening. We will see you on Tuesday. And don't forget, Undercover Doc. Check it out.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for any inconvenience you may have been put to prior to the program, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. And if you could now leave by the exits at the rear, that'd be splendid. Thank you. Good night.
I always hear a lot of guys calling in, and they're always like, down and out about their haircuts.
Sure.
I lost my hair when I was 16 to 17 years old.
That's heavy.
Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, it's all good, man.